Howdy everyone, Solo Drifter here. I thought this would be a good time to give my perspective on what a hobo, in essence to a tramp, and a home bum consist of. As you can tell, I'm sitting here waiting on a train going eastbound, Kansas City. Um, so my perspective. There's a few perspectives on YouTube already. One done by Roadrunner and one done by Hobo Mud. But my perspective, and I'll start out with hobo. A hobo is a term that originated, according to the internet, somewhere on the West Coast. Some thinks it's Washington, some thinks it's California. But either way, a couple definitions for the word hobo would be type of salute, like "ho boy," and another one would be like a migrant worker term for hoe, like a gardening hoe for hoe boy, a guy that travels around looking for some type of plantation work, because back in those days that's what they did. They traveled the rails to seek work primarily. um, Times wasn't like today where it can be done leisurely out of fun. A tramp, in contrast to that, a tramp, some thinks that a tramp won't work unless he has to or forced to. Actually, let me rephrase that. Unless he's forced to. I have to disagree with that. I think unless he has to or had to, and the reason why is because a tramp, if he got everything he needs and he's supplied for, and various places that he goes, he's able to find generous people, kind-hearted people that sees his condition and stuff and offers food and water, sustenance, maybe even a place to stay. Because back in those times, people opened their doors to travelers. So that's my idea of a tramp, and that's how I look at myself as a tramp. And because it's not a whole lot different today, I do try to find work whenever available. Like here, past year or so, I've been doing a lot of work for my family, because either my mom has gotten a new place put on her property and needed plumbing and things like that done, and then my uncle's been having consistent problems with his new house because of neglect and things like that. So, but there are times that I do rely on the generosity of others. Like when I'm hitchhiking, I hope for them to show generosity when they drop me off, which most generally they do without me asking. They ask, do I have any money, or could I use something to eat or whatnot, and they usually always have it on board. So in a lot of ways, that's what I rely on as far as traveling goes in order to do this. Like this time, my uncle gave me a little bit of compensation for helping him out for the past 3 or 4 days that I was there. But he gave me $50, so that gave me a good start. And then the guy that gave me a ride from Joplin up to Kansas City gave me another $30 without asking. We just had really good conversations. He liked my story and stuff like that. So in a way, I guess he was compensating me for storytelling, if that's how you want to view it or whatnot. But in very bright contrasting, a home bum won't work, period. He wants everything given to him. And a lot of times they have home bums, in essence, to other travelers and stuff, has a lot more issues with mental health. A lot of them are disabled veterans, or those that suffer from PTSD or whatnot, and or they just want to separate themselves completely from society, but they fly signs, they panhandle, or another term for panhandling amongst the traveling community is spanging, but they don't want to work at all, period, point blank. They do not want to work at all. So that's my ideas and definitions for the word hobo, tramp, and home bum. So, or bum, whatever. So that's there's not a whole lot of difference from what the other guys have said, but some things are. My recommendation and idea is you shouldn't consider yourself as a hobo if that's not your primary intentions as a hobo on traveling the rails, primarily looking for work. No other intentions but traveling from one job to the next job to the next job to the next job in order to survive or whatever. And there is a few individuals that goes by hobos, or don't go by hobos, but that rides the rails, that I would consider as hobos, true to the blue hobos. I'll name a few of them. Common YouTube names: Ran Out on the Rail. I consider him a hobo because he travels the rails leisurely, makes his videos and stuff like that, but along the lines he works, conservation or whatnot. And then there's Johnny Ringo. He does similar type of work, but works for the national parks. And then there's a few others, but there has been those that goes by the subtitled hobo, that has claimed that that's what they do, and that they're one of the only original hobos left today, that everybody else is just pretty much bums. And I find that to be very wrong in doing so, because you can't count yourself as a hobo if you're drawing a check every month. Yeah, you might have done your work back in the day, but you're traveling the rails and you're still panhandling and flying a sign. You can't classify yourself as a hobo. You can classify yourself as a tramp, because there might be times that you do get work or whatever, but to actually consider yourself a true blue hobo and claim it, represent it, you got to primarily be working everywhere you go, whatever it is. And flying a sign and panhandling is not part of the equation. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. There's no one convinced me of that. So that's my little rant about that and my definitions on those terms. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and hope you like my video here. I will be having more videos on this certain channel, which is all a part of my same account, part of my original channel, Solo Drifters Experience. But I will put these videos at the end of certain other videos on my main channel, Solo Drifters Experience, for side clips, whatever, little rants and boxcar politics. That's what the name of the channel that I call it, because there's been a lot of times that I've I've had thoughts, and I've had little rants and stuff like that, and a lot of people don't want to sit there and listen to me because sometimes I get on a roll. But so I created this channel, and I was like, you know what, that's what I'm going to use that channel for, to rant and to give my perspective on various factors. So anyway, thank you for watching. Until my next rant video, this is Solo Drifter out. Peace, y'all.